So today I thought it would be fun for us to chat a little bit while I do my walking hour of the day. In this way, you guys help me get past, at least a few 10 minutes of my walking, just chatting to you. And today I wanted to really talk about, the load that comes with motherhood, that it's really not really talked about. Like, there's so much that goes on beside, like, you think before you have a child, you think motherhood is just having a child and it's just looking after a child, but it's not. There's a lot more. There's 24,000 meals a day that you need to prepare, and you need to think about. You need to think about someone else besides yourself 24/7, which, yes, it comes with motherhood, and yes, it's given, but you don't really understand what that means until you actually have said child. There's also a household to be kept. There's endless amounts of laundry. There is so much to think about, and it doesn't really come with a warning sign. Everybody just talks about motherhood as if it's this joyful, amazing, fulfilling thing, and it is. Okay, it is really fulfilling, and it is one of the best jobs in the world, but it's added to a lot of other things that comes with it, like chores, because who likes chores? So this is obviously talking about my personal experience, so I don't know how other people experience this, and hopefully better than me. But for me personally, I felt attacked by motherhood because I'm not equipped to keep up with a tidy house. I'm not equipped to be cleaning constantly and also being paying attention to someone else 24/7, which I love my son to death. I'll do anything for him. But I get tired. I get tired of people. I'm an introvert. I like my alone time. And that's something that you think, like, with motherhood, it changes. Or you think certain things will become more natural to you because now you're a mother. And it's just not true, right? And also, the added thing of all of this is adulthood. Like, you're expected to be this adult that has everything figured out, because you look at your parents and previous generations, and when they had kids way younger than we are having right now, it feels like they had everything figured out, and turns out they actually didn't. They just didn't share it with the world. It just made it a lot harder for our generation than new generations to get to our age after 30. I'm not a teen mom, believe it or not. When you get to 30 and you don't have things figured out, you don't have a solid career, but you have kids, you don't know where you want to live, you are renting, you don't own a house, it feels deflating, right? Like, it's a feeling of, I'm losing at this game that we call life because everyone else before me somehow did well, and now what am I missing? Basically, we've just been lied to, really, because adulthood sucks and responsibility just sucks big time. And having to pay bills and think about what your next family meal is going to be, or even having to afford to go shopping and buy food, because in today's world it's just 100 times more expensive. It's hard, and you don't get to choose things. You don't get to pick and choose what you can or cannot do. Like, if you pick to not do laundry, like I do most of the time, and focus on cooking, then laundry is going to be left behind. If you focus on the laundry, but then not to the cooking, then the cooking falls behind, and you're eating chips and nuggets for a week. There's people talk about this balance, and people talk about knowing what you're doing with your life. And I don't know, adulthood structure. I really, 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 really thought and really expected to have it all figured out by the time I had kids and hit my 30s. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm creating content, talking to you, complaining about it. That's one thing I'm doing. But it's just, we fall in this comparison wheel. We just keep turning and comparing our lives to other people and saying, like, oh, they can cook and they can do laundry and they can look after their kids 24/7, but I can't. What is wrong with me? But in reality is, we're just built differently. We just have different priorities. We have different privileges. We have different resources. We have different everything. And that's okay, right? Like, I'm not even complaining about us being different. I think that's okay. But we just lived in this society of comparison because, one, I'm a woman, and a mother, and that's the thing. Like, you talk about any of these things online, or you see people talking, and you go to the comment section, and it's savage. Like, people just don't, I don't know, they just, because they can do something, somehow makes the person who can't do them inferior. And it's not true, because I'm totally sure that there's so much that I excel in that nobody else cares or even knows about. There's this saying I really love saying a lot. I say this to my husband a lot, which is, common sense is not so common anymore. And the reason for this is not, common sense, use a knife to cut meat. No, it's more like, what is common sense to one person is not common sense to everybody else, right? So like, if an electrician comes to me and says, oh, you shouldn't do this because it's going to blow a fuse, like, that makes no sense to me. There's only certain things I will only learn if I do them, or if someone tells me. But like, if I didn't do the research and I'm just winging it, it's not ever going to work. And then there's people that are like, I'm a very fairly good baker and I like to experiment, and I just use, I will say, common sense. It's my common sense to bake. And I know for a fact that my husband, for instance, would not be able to do that. He will have to follow a recipe. He will have to do things like to the T to be able to bake. So, we all have our common grounds, and in motherhood as well. And that's the thing that we somehow just excluded. I think it's also because it's a woman's job. Let me start on that. Because it's a woman's side of things. I feel like we just all put motherhood in this one wheel and expected everyone to just like, yes, you can birth a child, so you will be innate, or you will know how to do things. But in reality, we don't. I mean, I don't. I remember the first time I went out with my child on my own. He was 3 years old. Okay? To me, going out with him, it's very overwhelming. It was. It's not anymore, but it was very overwhelming. It's something that I never felt capable of doing. Even after I gave birth, the nurse wanted me to hold, or midwife wanted me to hold my baby. And I had a C-section, so obviously I was all drugged. So she wanted me to hold the baby. And I literally said, no, I'm going to drop him. She obviously put him on my chest and he just stayed there. But still, they can't really go far. But still, there's just, I think, because we are biologically created to make life, somehow we are just told that we know what we're doing and we know what is happening, and we shouldn't have any doubts, and we shouldn't have questions, and we shouldn't question it, firstly. And we also should love being with our children 24/7 without questioning anything. No. Fuck that noise. So my first years of motherhood was very tough because of this. Because I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. And I was just struggling to even relate to someone. But luckily for me, I actually got my baby in pandemic times. So, a lot of people turned to social media to share their own struggles. And that's when it sort of created this movement of people sharing their vulnerabilities in motherhood and their realities, which then I could relate, thankfully, and realize that I was not alone. The cat needed out. That's one of the reasons why I realized that, I was not alone. And also when you start raising a little human and, getting the hang of it, I guess. Firstly, if you have a really small child and you're watching this, just know that even though you get the hang of it, there's always a new thing that comes and gets thrown your way. You'll be fine, by the way. You'll be fine. And you will do it because there's no other option. But yeah, as soon as you get the hang of it, something new happens that throws your balls out of the basket. So anyway, one thing you start changing when you have a little human that you're raising is the way you look at the world and the way you want your child to live in, or what type of world you want your child to live in. And you start thinking about those things, like you want a kind world, someone that will look at your child and not be mean and bully them. For instance, that's a very big problem we have right now in the world, is the bullying. And the problem is, we think as children that are doing it to each other, but really adults do it too. On Instagram especially, or social media, people are just so mean, and they're just releasing their own angers on other people, which I get it. It happens. I've done it before when I know that I am right about something, but at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. Like, my opinion will not matter because I do not have whatever child that person has, or I don't live their life. So me going and sharing my opinion in an angry manner is not going to change anything, and it's not going to make someone else's life different. Just won't. So yeah, back onto topic of burdens in the motherhood. There's just a lot of things that come with it that you are constantly thinking and constantly in your brain thinking about. I need to prepare a snack. I need to take a water bottle. I need to take spare clothes. I need to book this doctor appointment. I need to book that at a doctor's appointment and you are left out in the back burner. And for many years, this was the only way women live. And it's kind of ridiculous. There's still a lot of women that are doing every single thing for their families while the dad just goes and gets a paycheck at the end of the month. And that's fine if that's you, all right? If you fit in this type of system, that's absolutely fine. I'm not here to judge, not here to tell you how to do your life. I just think there is a lot of that falls into a woman's plate because of motherhood that is just not necessarily what should happen. I don't think we should have all of these responsibilities for the whole family. I don't think it's fair, and especially for my family. If this all fell into me, I'm gonna tell you nothing would have been done. And I don't think it's fair for me to feel bad about it because I'm not good at booking doctor's appointments and going to school meetings and things like that because I don't want to talk to people and I hate going to the doctor myself. So forcing my child to do these things is just something that will always be hard for me to do. And yes, you're probably thinking, oh, you're the parent, you need to do this and that. Yes, I am the parent, but doesn't mean I'm good at these things. So I don't have to do them. I do them, but I don't have to because he also has his dad that can do it. And I need to add that we live in France, all right? So I don't speak French. I can say, je m'appelle Paula, and comment ça va? I can say a lot more things, but my brain just froze there, so I'm just gonna brush past it. So there's a lot of things that my husband took control. But my son was born in London, right? And I went for his first vaccination, and he was a baby that didn't cry. He complained that he didn't cry. And when it was his first vaccination, he cried bloody murder, and I was traumatized. And that was it. That was the last appointment I went with him. My husband did the next vaccinations and everything else from then because I could not hack it. Like, to me, was the worst ever moment of my life. So I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm running out of breath doing both things. But I just wanted to say that it's okay. Like, if you're a mom and you're feeling like you're not like the other moms, or you just don't excel on certain things that other people do, it's okay. We are not designed to be and look the same. We are not the same. We shouldn't be comparing motherhood journeys. We shouldn't be comparing motherhood styles. We shouldn't be comparing our children because they are all different. And whatever works for you, I'm 100% sure that probably will not work for me. Maybe 10% of what you're saying, but not all of it. Okay, so it's fine. It's absolutely fine. We are different. And a reminder that sometimes when people are sharing stuff with you, especially moms, sometimes they're not wanting for you to give them an advice. I mean, I'm kind of 100% sure they're not asking for advice. They're just asking for someone to listen and understand what they're saying. That's it. That's simply it. If they want advice, they will ask you for help, because that's what I did. And get yourself a friend that understands what you're going through. I found my best friend in the whole world online. Of all the places, I found her online. She's moved to this continent, thank God. And she's the biggest support I've had throughout this journey. And having that person that just listens to you makes the world of a difference. The world. Anyway, if you need friends, comment below. I'll be a friend. I'll be supportive as hell. I tell you that. I will never tell you how to parent your children or how to do motherhood, because guess what? I'm still learning myself. So yeah, if you guys have any comment, or if you have any topics you want me to talk about, or if you just wanted to, chat a little bit about this topic, just comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!